Well, here's my ode to the Oakland A's. You know what, guys? We had to kick your tail at least one game. But Oakland fans, sorry you're losing your team and they're going to Sacramento. I don't really care about that. But seriously, let's talk about the Astros win today on tonight's Locked On Astros.
Jainer Diaz, this is Locked On Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Heisman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chansey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Heisman. You can find me on X at Eric Talk Stros. You can find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Brett, where can I find you at?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on X, Instagram, and TikTok. They can find me at Stros411 on X and on Facebook. They can also find me at Back to the Bullpen on X, on Instagram, on YouTube, and on just wherever you get your socials. Always positive, always Stros. I got to say real quick, the reason why I'm wearing an Oakland A's hat is just kind of to tip my cap to them. It's got the 1989 World Series logo. And one Jose Canseco is coming to town for a home run challenge with Johnny Manziel, Josh Reddick, the King of JUCO, and Antonio Brown. This is going to be a star-studded event. Tickets are live. Go to my Instagram, and you'll see tickets right there, and I'll have more stuff on that, more info. But, yeah, so here, this is a nod to Mr. Canseco and Oakland. I'm really sorry you're losing your team.
Guys, thank you for making us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Go and check out the Locked On Astros podcast. And today's episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Just get out your phone, go and download the Prize Picks app, and just use the Prize Pick code. It's prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB. Use the code all lowercase LockedOnMLB to win $50 instantly when you play $5. And Brett, sometimes betting or just thinking the Astros are going to win against a team like the A's, it's like, yeah, it's money in the bag. And then you have the first two games, and it was like, what the heck's going on here? But we saw a much better effort overall in this game. We saw the team play better. Framber Valdez went out there and pitched better. You saw John Singleton. He contributed a lot. So we'll go ahead and talk about him a little bit more. And Kyle Tucker. A lot of y'all were saying that he should have spent some more time. He should have get some at-bats down in AAA. Well, he got his at-bats. He had his rehab starts with the Astros. He sucked at first, but Kyle Tucker will find a way. And that's what he's done. He's especially after that pinch hit on, was it Wednesday night? It just seems like his timing is just coming right back. So, Brett, there's a lot to talk about, especially Jose Altuve. It sounds like he's A-okay. He didn't play today, though.
Yeah, exactly. Look, I really think, though, the lead story today is, Mr. Singleton, dude. Mm-hmm. What a big day. And we'll get to him, but avoiding the sweep was key. We need to start a chant, let's go Rangers. They're up 1-0 on the Mariners. We need the Rangers to sweep the Mariners. That would be sweet. I would love that. As the boys head to Anaheim. But dude, I got some numbers on Singleton. I won't share them right now, but I'm going to share them later. My friend Ryan Slack on X put together a really cool thing on John Singleton, just showing his breakdown the last 30, last 15, last 7 games. Dude, it's impressive. John Singleton was kind of he was thrown into the starter role. Then his role's kind of been dialed back. But whenever he's in there, Eric, he seems to make a difference. I mean, I was critical of him bat flipping for the pop fly. I think I was a little frustrated at the loss. I wasn't necessarily mad at John Singleton. I guess that was called displaced anger. Children, for a counseling term to throw out there. This is not a BetterHelp.com ad, but at the end of the day, he really, Eric, has done an admirable job. I mean, this is a guy that got a second chance. This is a guy that was thrown into a team that has a championship pedigree, has been riddled with injuries, has been riddled with pitching problems, and all through it, John Singleton's actually, for the most of the season, beginning, middle, and end, he's really done his part. And we definitely need to tip our cap to him. And what about Heyward showing up?
Right.
J.A. today showing up with the laser. Like, I didn't think that ball was going. Man, that ball went out in a hurry. You got to love what you saw today. Maybe they responded to me yelling at them last night. I'd like to think I had an effect on the game. Maybe it was their performance.
Yeah, I think that Jason Heyward, he was brought in with the hopes that maybe he could contribute. He's only had 2 hits in his time with the Astros. This was his 3rd hit today. It was a pretty big hit. It gave the Astros a 2-0 lead at the time. Framber Valdez was pretty much coasting. He gave up a run, then he gave up that bomb to Rooker, and Rooker's having a great year. Whoever trades for Brett Rooker is going to be going to get a good outfielder, because I don't think he's going to stay in Anaheim. Sorry, not in Anaheim. We're playing Anaheim next, but in Oakland or wherever, Sacramento, Las Vegas, wherever the A's are playing.
Yeah, we don't know, man. I don't even think they know. It's a mess. Dude, what a mess.
Yeah.
That horrible owner of theirs, good Lord, he's awful.
But Heyward is not only for his production. We've seen him already make some great catches in outfield, but he's also brought on for some leadership. He's got 17 years, 15 years in the big leagues, and he saw John Singleton in last night's game hit a line drive that was 107 miles per hour off the bat, and it was just caught at the on the warning track. And so only Jason Heyward or some veteran could say this. He said, "Hey, you're swinging the bat really hard. You're making good contact. Unfortunately, you're not seeing the results that you want. How about you try to swing not so hard? And why don't you just try to, instead of trying to hit the home run, why don't you try to get some more singles, try to get on base more?" And that's what he did today. He lowered his bat speed a little bit, and he had 2 doubles. He had a single. He had an RBI, scored 2 runs in his game. John Singleton, if he can somehow put it all together, his OPS plus for the season is 107 or 106. And that OPS plus, that's a valid major league player. So maybe the Astros do have their answer at first base after all.
Yeah, no. Do you want me to throw up the numbers that I have? Because
Sure.
it really falls in line with what you're talking about. So in his last 30 games, John Singleton is 20 for 77, 260, 341, 519 slash line with an 860 OPS. Now watch this. 7 games, 7 for 19, 368, 400, 737, 1137 OPS. Last 15, 270, 372, 568, 940 OPS. And last 30, what I just read, 260, 341, 519, 860 OPS. This is what the Astros need. They need contributors. And that's where I think when this team gets to the playoffs, not if, I'll never say if, when this team gets to the playoff, Eric's, like there's 3 of you. Eric, yeah,
Hey,
well, well, but you got glasses now. This is like Eric Kent's, like Clark Kent. This is like when Eric takes his glasses off, superpowers. But anyways, I digress. We need guys like John Singleton because this team isn't built on ego or superstar status. It's built on like role players. I mean, Trey Mancini, the catch at first base, Chas McCormick, the catch against the wall, the no-hitter that took multiple pitchers to throw in the World Series. I mean, just so many, Yuli Gurriel, Martin Maldonado at times contributing when he was here, the solo shot to Jeremy Pena where he'd become ALCS and World Series MVP. It's stuff like that. And if this team, when this team gets to the playoffs, guys like John Singleton will be a huge help to this team because even if he's on the bench, Eric, coming off the bench, he's got the ability to park one in the outfield seats.
And not just John Singleton, Jason Heyward will be a valuable piece off the bench. And there's a whole bunch. You hope that Chas McCormick is ready because whether he's in the starting lineup or whatever, we know that that Kyle Tucker and Chas McCormick are the best outfielders out there. Like defensively, Jake Myers he's good, but he doesn't have the arm. So Chas McCormick and Kyle Tucker are kind of a reason why the Astros haven't had the best defense in outfield this year. I know we've had a lot of errors by Jeremy Pena recently, but I didn't realize how bad defensively this team has been overall. And so that doesn't play well in the playoffs. So if you give
Right.
the other team a advantage, they're going to take it. So we're going to continue this conversation, and we're going to talk about the 4-run rally late that the Astros did. Finally, they actually came through with when they needed to. So we're going to continue this conversation next.
That's right. This episode is brought to you by Tonal. Tonal they've got an awesome offer. It's $200 off your purchase when you go to tonal.com using the promo code LockedOnMLB. Look, the most dedicated gym rats, they struggle with consistency. But we know you, our listeners and our viewers, you don't struggle with consistency. You're disciplined. But you don't have to go to the gym. Get Tonal system. It is advanced. It uses AI. It tracks your range, your muscles, your strength, what you're doing, it optimizes, it personalizes your workouts. It makes it right for you. And this can be used whether you're a professional athlete or a mom of 3. And you don't have to use traditional gym equipment. It's adaptive digital weight to advance your training techniques. I'm telling you right now, Tonal is offering our listeners $200 for your Tonal purchase with the promo code LockedOnMLB. Don't forget the promo code LockedOnMLB at Tonal.com because you'll get $200 off your purchase. Where is it? One more time, write it down, TONAL.com, promo code LockedOnMLB for $200 off. Get in shape, get ripped, get ready for the playoffs.
Guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Whether it's on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to us. Go ahead and make us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Go and check out the Locked On Astros podcast. We appreciate it. Go and check out Michael Connor with the Locked On Astros podcast as well. He does a great job, and we are excited for the postseason because we get to talk to you, win, lose. We're there for our everydayers. We're going to be the counselors. We're going to be your best friends celebrating with you as the Astros hopefully go to their 8th straight ALCS. But the Astros have done something that I don't think a lot of us has expected. Their rotation is now legitimate rotation. Some would say it's elite rotation because of just the turnaround of some of our young starters. Also going out and getting Kikuchi. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But I do want to talk before we move too far away from this game into talking about what Framber Valdez did. The Astros were able to score 4 runs in 8th inning. When's the last time you can remember them coming through with the game tied? It just seems like every time the game's tied, they go in extra innings and lose. I know that's not the case, but that's just how it feels sometimes. And that's not good in the playoffs.
Well, we talked about that. Look, I'm going to put these back up here from Mr. Charlie Palillo. Look at this. So, okay. Still, they were 0. They had 0 wins when down after 8. They were tied. And then they came back in the 8th inning. I mean, they were almost in that range, right? They are not good when it comes to the game is on the line, kids. You hope that changes. Look, I like to talk about the law of averages, okay? The law of averages tells me this with baseball. You know, your guy that's 0 for 30 or your team that's 0 for 10 or you have a losing record in extra innings. In the playoffs, it's a much smaller sample size. I think the odds are in your favor to actually win one of those because you're not going to lose them all. You're not going to always lose those, right? So maybe the blessings and the curse. Maybe we get the losing stuff out of the way in close games. Then we start winning close games. I mean, it can happen. Guys can miss their spots. You know, if pitchers make mistakes, major league hitters hit them. And so that's what we want to happen. We want to see a tide turn in Houston with the Astros. I think if they make the playoffs, they are the most feared team in the American League. I'm sorry. Yeah. When they make the playoffs. I'm going to keep correcting myself.
Make up your mind. Do you want to say when or if? So
I want to say when. I'll put $1 in the jar every time I say if.
Yeah, it's like you're cussing or something, the cuss jar. Yeah, so every time I say if, you just put $5 in and give it to Eric. That'll be a good thing there. But Framber Valdez, he was looking like he was on fire today.
Look at that.
What are you doing?
20s. I'm putting a 20 in the jar every time I say if.
Okay, well, that's going in Eric's pocket. I'm happy about that. So Framber Valdez pitched 6 1/3 innings today, 5 hits allowed. He did allow his, I think his 20 inning scoreless streak was snapped. So he was on an impressive run there, but he had 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. So his ERA is 2.91. I believe Ronel Blanco's is 2.88. And you have also Tariq Skubal, who's possibly going to win the Cy Young this year. But there is some maybe discussion at this point. Let's say Skubal kind of falls off a little bit and maybe has a bad start or two. Valdez has put himself in the position to possibly
100%.
being talk for Cy Young. This is after I remember on this podcast, we said the Astros should trade Framber Valdez. He's no good anymore. He's never going to be good anymore. And so I don't remember who said that. I forgot
No,
what
hold
his
on.
name was.
I'm out. No, hold on. Hold on. You took what I said and you twisted it. You went a little too far with it. You went from 8 to 11 with that. So I didn't say he's never going to be good again. I said if we are getting out of Framber the most we've been able to get out of him, and we don't think we can get anything else, if there was a reasonable trade to make and you could get back a substantial package at the time when the Astros were losing, it made sense to talk about it as an asset. I didn't say don't put that on me, Ricky Bobby. Don't put that on me. I didn't say that he was. Anyways, Framber Valdez, myself and Corbin were actually chatting about this earlier on a text message, and I've thought that he's a top 5, now a top 3 for the Cy Young. He may not win it, but he's going to get a lot of votes because you can't deny his second half, Eric. He has been nails. Framber the stopper. We say Framberized, but maybe it's Framber the stopper. This guy comes in and he just has elite stuff. And, it's the Oakland A's, but you know what the Oakland A's did to our other 2 pitchers? Knocked them out of the game. They did just enough damage. So that's what you need. And Eric, right now, if I'm starting a playoff series today, Framber is my game 1 starter.
Yeah, I agree. And especially with Justin Verlander basically falling off the earth. We'll see what he does in his last 3 starts. But Chris asked a question. What are you wearing? So Brett is so excited about the future of the A's that he wanted to become an A's fan and just go ahead and drop the Astros because they've been struggling so much.
Here, let me mute Eric real quick. Actually, what I'm doing,
I can mute you back.
Canseco's home run derby with my Oakland A's hat. I'm also tipping my hat to the Oakland fans because they're losing their team. And it's got the sweet 1989 World Series logo on it. And so that's why I'm wearing it with the green and stuff. So there's a little play on the scene here. But thank you for asking, Chris. I have not turned to the dark side.
Yes. So if you're looking at what the Astros have done, Hunter Brown has been that stopper recently. When the Astros in losing streak, Hunter Brown has kind of been a guy to right the ship. Framber Valdez has been that as well. And then you've also had the emergence of Kikuchi. Kikuchi has been exactly what the Astros could have asked for when you made that trade. And so the Astros now have this elite rotation. There is a article in Baseball Savant that basically looks over everything and talks about what everybody's changed. And apparently it's talked about how Hunter Brown has used his four-seam fastball a lot less. And when he does use it, because he's using the sinker more, it's throwing the hitters off a little bit more. So the batting average is going down a little bit. Also, it talks about what's going on with Framber Valdez. He's using certain pitches. I'm trying to get back to that real quick. But Framber Valdez's pitches, he's been basically dialing up his curveball. We talked about that, throwing at 34.8% of the time in his last 14 starts, when he was doing 26.2 in his first 12 starts. So what we have seen is the Astros rotation make adjustments. They're like, okay, we're struggling. How can we fix this? We can't go out and get the big time starter. Kikuchi was a great starter, but they couldn't go out and get that big ace. So what can we do to fix the guys we have? Spencer Arrighetti great transformation. You have Ronel Blanco. Ronel Blanco will be back in the rotation this weekend against the Angels. So the Astros have been kind of resting his arm. Joe Spada thinks that he'll be a lot better. So we'll go and continue this conversation next. Thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Hey guys, have you heard about Prize Picks? Prize Picks is awesome. It's just this, it's like a daily fantasy game. You're not playing against your friends, you're playing against yourself. And who knows baseball better than you? Well, you know baseball. So what's going on in tomorrow's game? Who's going to hit a home run? You can go ahead and go. The thing I like to do is runs, RBIs, and hits because it's something that if somebody hits a home run, you automatically get those points. You can go with how deep will the pitcher go in a game. So there's so many different ways you can go with Prize Picks, and it's awesome. And Brett and I do it every day. Download the Prize Picks app and use the code LOCKEDONMLB and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That code is LOCKEDONMLB on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. That's awesome. So it's guaranteed. Prize Picks, run your game.
That's right. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Let me tell you, you've heard me talk about FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, but I've got something a little different for you. This is really cool. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial to NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube or YouTube TV. That's right. So with the YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game. All you need is a Google account, a current form of payment, and you can cancel anytime. So you're not locked into some crazy contract that's going to last forever. And that is amazing. But if that's not enough, be sure to check out FanDuel's Profit Boost in the app and use it for FanDuel's double your winnings for all of Sunday, 9:15 pregame money line bets. Profit Boost will be live starting Thursday, 9/12. Like as I speak, view your account page now and learn more about your boost. Visit FanDuel.com to look at odds to see where you can make America's #1 sportsbook your number one thing.
Hey guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Whether it's on YouTube, go and subscribe to us. Make us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Go and check out the Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Heisman. He's Brett Chansey. We appreciate all our everydayers, those guys that listen to our podcast every day, whether the Astros win, lose. And I know it was kind of a rough series, but I know we look at what have you done for me lately, but the Astros on the season are 8-5 against the A's. Not that it matters. We don't have any type of tiebreaker against them in playoffs or anything, but this is a team that has historically played pretty good against the Houston Astros. And so I think that to see the Astros avoid the sweep was huge. And it was just good to see the bats come alive without any help from Altuve. Bregman led off and didn't really do much. And then Alvarez didn't do much. So the Astros got this win with everybody else, including Kyle Tucker, who had a pretty good game. So I think it's good to see the other guys go ahead and get part of the show as well.
No, yeah, definitely. You want a total team effort. But hey, real quick before I dive into that, I'm sitting here looking at Baseball Savant at Framber Valdez's miles per hour on his average pitch. Last year in 23, he raised his average miles per hour on just about every pitch. This year, he's gone down. Remember, we talked about movement with his sinker, with his slider, with his changeup. When Framber is throwing his hardest, he's hittable because when you throw with more velocity, it flattens out your pitch. So when they talk about pitch shapes, there's less of an arch. There's more of just a flat plane. It's easier to hit a ball when it's coming straight at you than when it's got spin on it, right? And even with spin, when that spin flattens out, and that's been the key to his success this year. But yeah, man, I mean, mention everybody getting involved in the game. That's how you win baseball games. That's how you go out there a total team win. You had Singleton 3 for 4 today. You had Myers 1 for 3, Heyward 1 for 3, Dubon 2 for 4. You had your 2, 3, 4 runs come from Singleton to DeBon. You had Yonder Diaz go 3 for 4. You had Kyle Tucker go 2 for 4. Both of them scored a run. Alvarez was 0 for 4 today. He didn't strike out. Neither did Bregman, but they didn't have a good day at the plate, but everybody else did. There wasn't a ton of strikeouts. There was only 2 strikeouts, Eric, by this team. So, they were hitting the ball. They were putting the ball in play. They were 4 for 11 with runners in scoring position. That's what you need. And I know it's the Oakland A's, and I know they're not a good team, but they just beat you the first 2 games. So it was really solid to get this win. You get on the plane, you have a much better feeling than if you just got swept. You go to the West Coast, and then you get to come back home, and you get to play the Angels again, and then you get to play the Mariners. I mean, it's going to be an interesting last few weeks of this season. It's going to be fun to watch. But I really hope this Altuve thing does not linger, because they did bring up Gray Kessinger to fill a spot while he's quote unquote day to day, and they're not concerned about it.
I think that's also to replace Chaz McCormick as well. So
I'm sorry. You're right. I can believe. Sorry, Chaz. I forgot about you, bud, and your fractured index finger or whatever it was. My bad.
Yes. So Brian Keane also came up as well as part of that transaction. So I think that Kessinger, I don't know how much he'll play. We'll see. I think everybody's auditioning right now for the playoff roster. I still think that it's probably going to be Cesar Salazar as like a extra catcher, because even though Singleton's doing a lot better, he may not be the guy to start against a left-handed pitcher. So you want somebody who can play first base against a left-handed pitcher. It's probably going to be somebody like Diaz, Caratini. Are they the best first baseman out there? No, but it'll be a way to get both their bats in the lineup and have Singleton maybe come off the bench as a pinch hitter. So I think that having all the options, everybody getting playing time right now is great. And people are going to be getting a little bit more playing time with Jose Altuve. We don't know if he's coming back. We do know that he had the side discomfort, and they did some additional imaging today. And Joe Espada said everything looks okay. He remains day to day right now. So the Astros are positive. It's nothing major. It's not going to be anything that's going to hold them out for any length of time. They're just playing it cautious right now. The Astros, depending on what the Mariners do tonight, they have what I just had up they're 4.5 games up right now, I believe. No, they're 4 games up, but they could be 4.5 if the Mariners lose. They could be 3.5. It just depends on what the Mariners do in this game. So, but I think that the Astros overall, they needed this win. They need to go to Anaheim and realize that Anaheim is the worst team in the American League West, and play them like they're the worst team in American League West and win some ball games. Stop this crap about lowering your expectations. Like, as a teacher, you don't want to lower your expectations for your students. Go out there and just have the belief that you can beat any team. Don't look past them to the Mariners or whoever's coming after the Angels. The Astros have only played them 6 times. That's why they're going to play them 7 games down the stretch. So this is a 4-game series. Then you're going to have a 3-game series at home later on in the season. So I think that the Astros just need to take care of business. Mike Trout, I don't think he's going to be back. This is not the Shohei Ohtani Angels, but they are 3-3 against the Astros this year somehow.
Yeah. So, looking at, I just, again, I'm not gonna discount them, but I'm going to say it. The Astros should not lose this series, plain and simple. They are the better team. But John Singleton, it's interesting when you look at where he's batted in the lineup. When he bats 6th, that's where, he's batted 5th and 6th most of his season. 314 batting 6th, 190 batting 5th. Alex Bregman. When Alex Bregman bats 2nd, 271. Now, his highest average is batting 5th at 438, but that only is 16 plate appearances. But he has 13 home runs when he's batting 2nd. He should not be batting 1st. He's only had 22 plate appearances, but he has 3 strikeouts. He has a 273 average, but he has some of his lowest numbers there. I don't ever want to see Alex Bregman leading off. I don't think he's a leadoff hitter. I think he's best when he's second. And I know Altuve wasn't there, but I mean, why not? I don't know. Yanner Diaz, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, Yanner Diaz has been on fire. I know that's kind of a weird twist, but I don't know. I guess Alex Bregman really is kind of your best option with, who you had going in the game. But at the end of the day, whether these guys are first, second, third, fourth, fifth, or sixth, it doesn't matter. They just got to perform. And they performed today. I think they go to Anaheim and they perform well.
Yeah, so we'll see. I know it's going to probably be some late starts. I haven't looked at the game times, but overall, the Astros typically play the Angels pretty good. So they've outscored the Angels so far this year, even though they have a 3-3 record. But a lot of people are talking about the Astros playing against the Mariners, and right now the Astros are 4-6 against the Mariners. Hopefully we don't have to come down to a tiebreaker, but if you do, it would be nice to go ahead and try to sweep the Mariners or just play some good baseball so you can have that tiebreaker just in case it comes down like the Astros and the Rangers did last year. And actually, that didn't turn out very well, that the Astros ended up the AL West winners, because that gave them Astros home field advantage, which the Rangers took advantage of. So, Brett, any closing thoughts?
No, man, just, excited for this season to get wrapped up. Excited for the Rangers to do business against the Mariners, and watch the Astros just go to Anaheim. They like hitting there. Jordan likes hitting there. They like hitting home runs there. So hopefully it's a slugfest in Anaheim, and maybe we give them shades of our own version of Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani to let them reminisce of the good old days.
All right, guys, that's all we got for this edition of the Locked On Astros podcast. We will see you tomorrow, and go Astros.
Go Astros.